Spawning in the bottom left hand corner of ReBellioN, we have our red Zerg player. From South Korea, representing Gaiman Gladiators, it is SHIN. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss, the blue Protoss player. It is ReBellioN. Here we go, we have moved over to the Korean server, so ping is going to be less of a factor for these two players. We'll see how they can compare. If you're in the chat, you know what time it is. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series and who you believe will advance on into the next round. Best of luck. As predictions are going to be open for the next minute or so predict while you can. Meanwhile, we can see SHIN going for a hatch gas pool, standard opener. SHIN has been known for many times embracing the gold base on this map, and ReBellioN, yep, no surprise, he does check the gold. We can see, and ReBellioN sees as well, that this time though, SHIN is going for a much more standard opener. Did not rush into the gold. ReBellioN just making sure that is the case. It is just a hatch gas pool standard opener out of SHIN. Now, talking about SHIN, he is a very chaotic player, very aggressive, very cheesy, very all-in. Because of that, that's why ReBellioN has to be very attentive when it comes to scouting. SHIN has a reputation. Does have, I mean, he can play standard, he can play macro as well. That's what's terrifying about him. But more often than not, does come out of left field, and it's going to be on ReBellioN to keep up with SHIN. As he's just trying to force some inefficient mining. Likewise, pylon gets placed, and it looks like a Stargate opener out of ReBellioN, but we'll keep an eye on him. Meanwhile, on the flip side, ReBellioN likewise is also an aggressive player himself, typically thrives in the mid-game, less so a later game. But I don't think I've seen SHIN face off against ReBellioN before, so I'm curious. Here's how they do compare to each other. Now Links are moving out to hunt down the probe. There's our take of choice, a Stargate opener out of ReBellioN into, I imagine, Oracle. Does have the option to go for a Void Ray first instead to hunt down these Overlords and to try to keep SHIN in the dark. And to go for something more aggressive behind it. But we'll see if that's what he does go for. The Void Ray, the Phoenix, or the Oracle. And SHIN is just taking his third. Droning up. Settling into his own queens. And we do enter a bit of a lull period here where both players are just focusing on their economies. We have our first unit of choice. It is going to be the Oracle opener by ReBellioN. So everything's looking standard, just Oracle into a second Oracle, into a third expansion. Everything looking normal so far. Again, the power of the Oracle opener is that it allows you to harass across the map. Oh, that is a Twilight Council before third base. Okay, never mind. So I was going to say the power of the Oracle is that it allows you to harass across the map, to scout, to defend and protect your third base while you expand against Lings. There's a reason why the Oracle is so meta nowadays and is so standard when it comes to getting into a longer game in PvZ. But because the Twilight Council is so fast, this should be Glaives. This should be a Glaive Adept follow-up. There is no second Oracle. You can see ReBellioN getting ready to take his third base, his third expansion. But again, this is designed to throw SHIN off the scent. And there it is. There's the Glaives. Now, the way this works here is it's 4-gate Glaive Adepts, but there is no Robo. There's no Robo, there's no War Prism, there's no way to reinforce across the map. Instead of ReBellioN, he's going to be banking up Adepts here back at home, and he's going to be sending out a massive wave of Adepts instead. And the goal here is to make it look like a standard opener, and to have SHIN drone. To have SHIN drone, to have SHIN skip roaches, and if that's the case, then SHIN could be caught with its pants down, and these Adepts could pop off. As I say that, SHIN does go for a Roach Warren. This was around 440, so a much later Roach Warren timing. Evo Chamber gets placed, which means we have SimCity to wall off here at the natural, and so far SHIN is droning, but he will have the opportunity to make Roaches if need be. We'll see how quickly SHIN can react, and how he can respond. And if he makes any safety Roaches. Because the Adept count is slowly getting higher. Now, this does need to get damage done because this upgrade, this Twilight Council Enclaves, is delaying Blink, it's delaying +1, it's delaying upgrades. So ReBellioN is going to fall behind in a longer game if this doesn't get damaged and we get a Scout. Shin sees, he knows. Lings are amassing, Roaches should soon be on the way. Shin going to try and defend with purely Ling Queen. Does wall off. And Roach production has begun. Spinecrawler on the way as well. Shin taking this very seriously. ReBellioN does keep it to the shade. We have plenty of queens to defend. He has 7 queens in position. Clutch transfuse. No single queen goes down so far. And ReBellioN, he will shade away. So far, 0 economic damage. Shin is shutting this down. Adepts, they head towards the mineral line. Finally, some drone kills. 3 drones go down, but just the 3 workers. Again, Shin is all over this. We could force a cancel on the 4th. Not bad. Oh! Does force a cancel. But these Adepts were hoping for more damage, as they're going to be forced back. Shin has defended. He's gotten into Ling Ravager. +1 melee's on the way. Spire gets thrown down. I do actually really love this response. Remember, a couple of things that we said earlier. Because of the tech of choice, because of the build of ReBellioN, Blink and +1 is far later than normal. The Stalker count as well, it's not going to be as high as it usually is. So these meters can pop up. As Shin is just gaining map control, mass expanding, taking his 4th, and taking his 5th, double expanding. ReBellion's moving out there, and behind this, how many gateways is he on? Ooh, he's on 6 gates. He's rallying across the map. ReBellioN, he's not slowing down. Does force a cancel. Does cancel the base, throws out a proxy pylon. It looks like ReBellioN is going for a 3-base all-in. Yeah, no gas here at his 3rd, no gas at the natural. So only 4 gases. And just mass Blink Stalker. We mentioned earlier that ReBellioN usually thrives in the mid-game. And is going for a 3-base all-in. And Shin is going to be punished for going into Muta. He's poking forward. Adepts a shade into the natural, sorry, into the 3rd. Lings are in position. Roach Ravager trading against the Stalkers. ReBellioN, he is gaining ground. Getting on top of the expansion. But the Adepts are cleaned up. Lings, they can rally over. And now with Lings to reinforce Shin, he should be okay. 14, 16 more Roaches in production. Shin may have the Spire, but he didn't make use of it. Again, I mean, if he did, he would have died here and now. Would have been punished. But it's just amassing more Roaches, more Lings. His goal here is to hold, to shut down these Stalkers. And there's not really much behind this. ReBellioN just now expanding, just now taking a 4th, but it's such a late 4th base for ReBellioN. And Shin does spot it. And Shin should be feeling pretty confident here. Once again, Stutter stepping forward, getting on top of the Stalkers. The piles, they will connect, taking down the pylon. Depowering the gateway doesn't deny the Warpin at least. These are expensive losses for ReBellioN, bleeding out Stalkers of all things. Stutter stepping back, racing to his 3rd. There's a shield battery, there's an overcharge. Ooh, a bit of a premature overcharge here for ReBellioN. Shin wasn't chasing. As Shin backs off, Muta's finally coming into play. Let's go. 6 Mutas in production. The station bit here for Shin. Since why are you awake so early? What do you mean? We cast this on a weekly basis, man. Ay, ay, ay. Este no clue. And from here, Shin is on 81 workers, taking up into an infestation bit, into a Hydrogen as well, working towards Hydras and Lurkers. I'm not so sure Shin actually needs to take in this direction, but he's just getting further ahead, essentially. Just taking more bases, getting his economy going, taking up. And the Mutas have arrived. Now, 6 Mutas are enough to one-shot probes. They head into the main, and the ground army here towards the fort. And there's no setup, no cannons, no shield batteries. ReBellioN, he was not aware of the Spire, not aware of the mutas. Probes are going down. At the same time, SHIN, he's going for the fourth. He's forced back home due to the Adepts. Forced to turn around. ReBellioN moving out towards the south as well. ReBellioN is committed. He's pretty all in, but he's stuck with a gateway army. Again, no Colossus, no Immortals, no Storm, no Archons, no Disruptors. I mean, this is how all-in ReBellioN was. Doesn't really have the army to head into a longer game. It's all or nothing for ReBellioN. I mean, decent stasis. Across the map, 19 probes went down. He's pushing forward. Behind this, SHIN amassing Hydras. Same time, Muta's getting across the map. Getting into another mineral line. Not like this. I mean, the Stalker count is quite high. It's quite terrifying, actually. It's a lot of Blink Stalkers. It's gonna be how many? 53 Stalkers! Oh my god. That's a lot of Stalkers. Pushing forward, diving on the main army. Yeah, going for the Ravagers. And so far, I mean, ReBellioN, he's breaking through. Does take down most of those roaches. Hydra trickling into reinforce. SHIN, this is still going to be a close defense. Had ReBellioN break through. He's so close. Takes down the Hydras, pushing in towards the expansion. 9 drones go down. And again, ReBellioN, he might not have an economy behind this, but he might not need one. Just keeps on going. The gateway, man. There's no lurkers. Lurker upgrades are on the way, but there's no lurkers themselves. F-boys are being pulled. And it looks like ReBellioN may just have enough. It might just barely be enough here. More workers going down. I say that the Hydras, they are taking down a lot of Stalkers. Yeah, they're dishing out so much damage to the back line. Cells coming in to reinforce. ReBellioN, he's doing it. It looks like he has. He has broken the back of SHIN. The Queens are falling. 32 drone kills as well. Again, SHIN, he may have crippled the economy, he may have forced the all-in, but ReBellioN, he was all-in from the start of the game anyway. Like, ReBellioN, he was always all-in, Bobby. That's his secret. Who needs Colossus? Who needs Immortals? Who needs a longer game? Nah, Bobby, nah. All-in, Bobby. Send it. And again, despite the tech of SHIN, he never got into lurkers. GG gets called, and ReBellioN takes game number 1. Whew. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Again, ReBellioN, as the game progressed, if the game went on any longer, ReBellioN would be outscaled. He was being outscaled as we spoke, but at the same time, he was kind of forced into that all-in scenario. Mutas that were wreaking havoc, killing so many workers back at home. SHIN was barely not ready for that counterattack. We were pointing out that SHIN, he was taking into lurkers. He had lurker upgrades on the way. He had the Hive as well, but he didn't have the time to morph in lurkers. If you remember, he was stuck on Ling, Roach, Ravager instead. Wasn't quite able to refine his army, and ReBellioN took advantage of it. GG, well played. ReBellioN one step closer here to the semifinals, and now the pressure is on SHIN. The pressure is on. Oh, as we are getting things ready. Okay, wait. Whew. I know what it's been recently, but yeah, we've been getting some lobby bugs on the Korean server. It's been a little bit unfortunate, but we should be okay. Here we go. So we're getting into game number 2 on site Delta. Here we go. And can we force the ace match, or does the series end here and now? As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of site Delta. Ooh, Yeah, that was a sign. Offside Delta, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg representing Gaiman Gladiators. It is SHIN. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss, the blue Protoss player. It is ReBellioN. Now, if we do go to the ace match, I will turn on my VPN. It was a bit of a sign that I had issues getting into the lobby, and you can see here that the frames are dropping quite hard in-game. Now, for those that are curious, this doesn't affect the players. The players are not affected by this. It is just basically our routing to the Korean server. That's Smooch, papi, smooch. So I will turn on my VPN after this game if there is an ace match. Again, sometimes we do need the VPN to, you know, properly have a smooth experience on the Korean server. Smooch. So I do apologize. Was affecting us last night as well. From my understanding, there's like a handful of servers on Korea, and one of them is just specifically bad for us, basically. Like, the routing is just awful. As ReBellion's going for a cannon rush, let's go! Yeah, Forge into Nexus here for ReBellioN. The pylons are being thrown down, and the cannon rush is upon us. Let's go. Backup pylon on the low ground, boys are being pulled. SHIN trying to focus on that pylon, trying to gain access to low ground, but the cannon is already on the way. Yeah, the cannon is in production. And ReBellioN, he should be able to wall off. It's going to be close. Boys getting pulled in. Pylon gets placed. ReBellioN does wall. And the cannons are on the way. Backup cannon here on the high ground as well. And can SHIN save the natural? That is the question. This is designed to deny that expansion, to shut the natural down, and to get into a longer game. This is a macro cannon rush. Looks like the cannon on the high ground is going to be denied. It does force a cancel. Spine Claws are finishing. With only one cannon, SHIN should be okay. SHIN should be okay. Behind this, we do see ReBellioN transitioning. But again, this was designed to at least kill the natural, and it isn't going to. The game will continue. Queen from the high ground. Spine Crawler rocking in. And the cannon is going to be targeted down. Yeah, do apologize for the frame drops. We'll fix it for the next game. It's just, you know, it's just bad routing to Korea. Smooch. As the pylons are going to be cleaned up, and now we can move on from here. So after the early game, after the initial builds, I do favor SHIN. The cannon rush did fail in the end and didn't really get much done. Look at the units lost tab, one drone. The cannon rush got one worker kill and not much more than that. ReBellioN desperately trying to take a fast third, going for a cannon as well. This is a really risky maneuver here by ReBellioN. We'll see if he can get away with it. We'll see if he can get away with the fast third, as he has no units. Like, zero. We were going to have one adept to work with. No tech, no Stargate, no Robo, no Twilight Council. Just Forge, in a way, like Forge fast expand, like quote unquote. Not quite, but close enough. SHIN back at home is droning. Thankfully for ReBellioN, SHIN doesn't really have much to try to punish the third. Has a handful of lings, but not much more than that, as SHIN does get eyes on the expansion. Does confirm the third base. Cannon and shield battery is already done. And we'll see if SHIN can actually try to punish the third. He can at least try to catch workers, reinforcing, or rallying. That gateway is going to be denied. Roachhorn gets thrown down, SHIN taking into a lair, still massing more lings. Again, we'll see if he can make use of them. I'm not so sure if he can, but is at least parked in between the bases to catch any transferring workers. Ooh, as Roach production has begun as well. SHIN cutting workers at 42. Going for the cannon, but the shield battery with the overcharge should be able to hold on. Oh, we locked down the Lings! And the Lings, they are locked in. And so many Lings are going to be going down here. Again, SHIN forcing the overcharge. We'll try to get away. But again, I'm not so sure that was worth it. Meanwhile, behind this is going all in. Building up Roaches, Ravagers. Ling production has begun. And we'll see if SHIN can knock down that third. Again, it's going to be 3 Stalkers, a cannon, and a shield battery. Files will knock down the cannon. Overcharge now on cooldown. Boys are being pulled. Lings are flooding forward. And it looks like SHIN, he should be able to deny this third. Without the overcharge, there's just not much left to work with. Yeah, probes are falling. Stalkers as well. And it was just a rough follow-up from ReBellioN. Like, again, the failed cannon rush was brutal. Third base should be knocked down. And SHIN can just keep going from here. As he claims the third, takes down the gateways. And we'll clean up the Nexus as well. At the natural, there's not much to defend either. There's a cannon, there's a Stalker. Immortal production has begun, but the third has been broken. And GG gets called. GG, well played. SHIN will take game number 2 and tie up the series 1-1. GG. And now I'll turn on the VPN. It's all good. We'll turn it on. And game 3 should be a lot smoother. So I do apologize for that. Just need one moment. Un momento, papi, un momento. As we are setting up. Again, should be smooth sailings. Ooh, okay. And we'll see how this story ends. Again, it was a cheeky start from ReBellioN, very cheeky. Didn't quite work out though, unfortunately. The cannon rush was lackluster. And I can't imagine we're gonna be seeing another cannon rush in game 3. Can't imagine. Here we go. As game 3 is going to be on Oceanborn. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the South Korean Zerg plate. See, look how smooth it is. It's crazy. Just like press a button and then everything's fine. If only you could just route correctly to the server, to the Korean server. Blizzard. God damn it. It is SHIN for Gaimin Gladiators. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing himself, but did force an ace match. Can he bring it home? It is ReBellioN. Here we go. But yeah, specifically, for those that are curious, why it's suddenly so smooth, is because on the Korean server, I mean, every server really, it's not like there's one server that everything takes place on. I mean, kind of there is, but there's like multiple nodes, and depending on which server you actually land on, some of them have better routing than others. I don't know why exactly, but it's kind of like RNG. Sometimes you just load in, and it's just you know, a bad node. Essentially, I know that it happens in Europe. I know technically there's I think there's like 5 servers in Europe for StarCraft, and I think there's one of them that's like really bad for like Eastern Europeans, for example. I've heard tell of that. But that's why game 1 was smooth, game 2 wasn't, and why game 3 we need the VPN. So yeah, just RNG with where we load in. Smooch. But it's all good. Again, at least everything is smooth. I just have to remember to turn it off when we go back to Americas. Just have to turn off the VPN and then turn it back on if we end up back in Korea. Regardless, it's going to be a standard hatch gas pool opener here by SHIN. ReBellioN likewise going for a gate expand into Cybercore. So this time everything is by the book. This time there's nothing crazy going on. There's no crazy cannon rush. Everything's looking normal. Oh, never mind. Everything was looking normal. But it is going to be the Robo Opener by ReBellioN. Now, a Robo Opener is wild. This could be a couple different things. This could be an Immortal Rush into a 2-base all-in with Mass Immortal like slow lot. This could be for, I don't know, a Destructor Drop Opener, which is very rare nowadays in PvZ, but not unheard of, to rush into a Bay, into War Prison Speed, into Disruptors. Meanwhile, SHIN is going for his own all-in. We have Pneumatized Carapace. What is that? That is Overlord Speed. And you do not rush into Overlord Speed unless you want to make use of it with something like a German taxi, like a drop load all in. Oh boy, so we have aggression from both sides. Let's go. Now I say that I'm assuming that we should be going into a lair soon thereafter. Usually the Overlord Speed and the lair are lined up in a bit of a more clean fashion, so this is interesting. Yeah, Overlord Speed is done. Just now taking the second gas. This isn't really lined up the way that it should be, but SHIN going for an early scout. Okay. I mean, against ReBellioN, I think it's a good choice. And yeah, the Overlord is diving into the main. A lot faster than usual. Meanwhile, Twilight counts a follow-up. Okay, so it's a Robo Opener into +1. And this should be a charge all-in, right? The Overlord will see everything. Yeah, Immortal +1 and charge lots, I would imagine. And SHIN sees all, and SHIN already has a Roach Warren. Roach Warren is already on the way. Twilight Council finishes up. Yep, charge in production, so it's going to be a 2-base all-in. And as long as SHIN plays it out safe and just masses up his Roaches when he needs to, he should be able to deal with this. When I say that, knowing is half the battle, right? Like, SHIN may know that there's the all-in coming, but defending is another thing entirely. For now, SHIN is droning. He's getting up to 44 workers. Baneling Nest on the way as well. Banelings will be more ideal against charge lots. ReBellioN takes a third. Bold move. ReBellioN does take a third base. As he does move out across the map. Hunting down Overlords, but because of Overlord Speed, I mean, the Overlords, they can actually get away. They can try to, at least. Buying one up. the Jukes, Pappy, the Jukes. Overlord trying to race away, buying time. Behind this, more Lings are amassing. Ling Speed is finishing up as well. Overlord, ooh, is not saved. Yeah, Ling's 1 second too late. And ReBellioN, he chose to skip Warpins. He's been skipping Warpins. Despite charge finishing, there's no charge lots. And again, is trying to, yeah, he's trying to work towards a third base instead. Gateway Explosion, Templar Archives. I believe this was not the intention of ReBellioN, but because he got scattered, ReBellioN knows that SHIN is good enough to defend, so ReBellioN is trying to pivot away. So despite charge finishing, again, he's not really making use of it. +2 now starts up. Archon production alongside a third and saturation. So ReBellioN is trying to kind of Frankenstein this build and trying to work towards a later timing with +2. We'll see if he can get there. This also, it's a double-edged sword. This also means Lair is done for SHIN, and we have Roach Speed on the way, Baneling Speed on the way. We have +1 at melee as well. SHIN is freely droning, taking a fourth. I mean, does confirm saturation at the third. Very important. This could have been a fake third, but does confirm there is at least some workers here. So SHIN, he knows he's safe to drone up to 3-base saturation. And now he's focusing on Lingbane Roach Ravager. Overseer Scout comes in once again. Gets a follow-up scout. Getting eyes on the gases. If there were no gases at the natural, then this, again, would just be a charge all-in, but did confirm, which means Archons. Changeling to get eyes on the Archons as well. And you can see that SHIN actually hasn't made a drone in quite some time. He's been at 3-base saturation for the past couple of minutes. And he's still just massing up Lingbane Roach Ravager. Again, take this very seriously. Now, ReBellioN is taking a gas geyser. Taking both gases is a sign that ReBellioN is building up towards a later game state. But just the one. There we go. ReBellioN is getting ready for his own move out. And SHIN still hasn't droned. He still has not droned, still just massing up more Ling Bane. SHIN is ready for this. Again, playing it out very carefully. And again, did scout earlier. He has a Ling in position, sorry, a changeling in position to see if there is a fourth. A fourth would tell SHIN to drone, but there is no fourth. And SHIN, he does meet the main army. SHIN, he's almost maxed at this point. Almost maxed out. Yo, shout out to Ryu. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás, papi? Gracias, gracias. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Did notice you were laddering earlier. Did notice. Hope you had a better time in ZvZ. I saw the stream title. But thank you so much. Mainly Rumbai does get in. Yeah, 12 workers go down. And ReBellioN, I mean, he was all in already before. Now even more committed. Now even more all in. So he has no economy. He's up to 5 Archons, 3 Immortals, pushing forward. Ling Bane rolling in, takes out the sentries, and zones away the Zealots, exposes the Immortals, exposes the Archons as well, and SHIN completely shuts this down. And there's almost nothing left. We're down to one singular Archon, not even. Does fall as well. GG gets called, and SHIN will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to SHIN as it does claim the series, does advance on. My condolences to ReBellioN. It was a wild build to rush into +1 in charge, but as we saw, SHIN went for something very interesting against ReBellioN, rush into Overlord speed, which is a very rare thing to do, but it was just for scouting. It was for scouting purposes, and it was worth it in the end because ReBellioN was going crazy. Because ReBellioN got scouted, he opted not to go for the 2-base all-in. He took a third and went for a later all-in, but SHIN was always so quick to scout, and so on top of just keeping an eye on the saturation at the third, he only droned up to 67, only 67 workers, and just focused on purely Ling Bane production, and Roach Ravager, of course, which meant that SHIN was perfectly safe and sound against that timing. GG, well played. With that, congratulations to SHIN. My condolences to ReBellioN, but at least ReBellioN was able to force an ace match. Very impressive. Very impressive stuff there by ReBellioN.